Hi YMCA family, welcome to the Ultimate Fitness Community's virtual studio. I'm Christy and this is foam roller recovery. Today we're going to be working with the 18-inch foam roller, so it's the shorter one. I really like the short one. It kind of helps getting into some different places. It's a little bit more mobile than that large foam roller, so we're going to do some new stuff today with it. All right, we're going to start with it horizontal on our mat. Find a seated position. You're gonna have two options. You can either sit with legs together, kind of sitting over on your hip, or in a Z sit. So one leg forward and one leg back. This is gonna be the most stable position, but if your hips are tight, it may not be comfortable. All right, we're gonna start with one hand on that foam roller. We're gonna do a mermaid, take an inhale. We're gonna reach that roller away, take just a big side bend, just to get kind of warm in the spine, and then back up. We'll do this a few times. Inhale, stretching over. And exhale, coming back up. So the goal of this is we're just using the roller to find access into the side bend, side body, and back up. Maybe getting some stretch along that bottom shoulder. And back. We're just gonna take one more. Inhale, reach, roll that roller out, pressing down on the roller, and then press back up. Next, we're gonna take both hands onto that roller. So we're rotated towards it. And we're gonna reach that roller forward, sinking the chest down, and then rise back up. So in this one, we're looking to feel some stretch on the outside of that right hip, and also some rotation into the spine. Reach out, and roll up. You may even be getting some rolling out on your forearms. We'll have some more time for that later. Reach, and roll back up. And last one, we're just getting warm, so move nice and easy, nice and gentle. Okay, let's change sides. So switching those legs over, make sure you have some room to roll your roller out. All right, starting with the side bend. So that roller is horizontal, take an inhale, reaching up and over. Big side stretch, stretching into your lats on the left and back up. Side bend. Good, so we're using our roller today as a recovery tool. So you can use your foam roller as part of your warm-up. That's a great option if you're gonna go for a run or do a hard workout. But today's focus is on recovery. So we're gonna do a little bit more deep work, some more kind of stretching and massaging with our roller. Let's turn our shoulders towards it, both hands on. Here we go, press that roller forward, roll it out. Chest sinking down and back up. Make sure you're keeping both legs planted on the mat during this one. Reach it out and up. Make sure to find good posture in between. So when you roll back up, use that press of the roller to drag it in. Sit tall here. And one more. We stretch forward. Good. And pull it back up. Nice, shake that out. We're gonna come onto all fours. So knees down, and we're gonna take hands on the foam roller. So both hands on. So you may already feel there's some instability there with our roller. So we're just doing this to get a little warm. We're gonna inhale, look the head and tail up towards the ceiling. This is our cat back. And we're gonna arch our spine, around our spine, looking towards the navel on our exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Now when you arch your spine on this next one, as you look up, imagine you're gonna drag that roller in towards you and then round back up as if you're gonna press that roller away. Pull it in to look up. It's gonna move a very little bit, but it's gonna help us gain a little bit more access and a little bit more range of motion in our cat-cow. One more. Inhale, looking up. And exhale to round. Good. From this rounded position, we're gonna push that foam roller out. Let your chest sink down. Keep your hips over the knees as long as you can, like a puppy position. If you do yoga, this may be familiar. Let the chest sink. Feel that stretch across the chest and across the upper back. And then we're gonna round our spine. Use your core to come back up into that cat back. Round to rise. Again, we're gonna push that roller away. Let the chest sink down. Keep your hips over your knees as long as possible. And arch to come back up. Inhale. Exhale, we sink down. Stretching out the chest and shoulders. And round up. One more. Taking this at your own pace. And round up. Good. Sit back towards your heels for a moment or sit up high and just roll your shoulders out a few times. We're going to move into the cervical spine. So we're going to move on to the neck to do a little bit with the foam roller. If you have any pain or injuries or anything in that area, I'd suggest you skip over this or just move really easily and monitor how you're feeling. So lay all the way down. We don't want to feel any intense pain during foam rolling, though it may feel painful, right? The rolling can be difficult. We want to be right on that edge. So let your head just kind of drape on the roller, arms by your sides, and just take a moment, let the neck release. So we have a lot of muscles along the sides of our neck that help kind of stabilize the skull. And these muscles can get really tight and tense, especially if you protrude your neck forward to look at a screen at all. So go ahead and start to just roll the head gently side to side. Really gentle roll. If you find any tight spots, anything that feels intense, you can just hold it and let the muscles release. So that's going to be a theme throughout today's session. So if you find any spots that feel really tender, it may be different than where I feel it. You're going to want to hold that for a moment, adding some pressure to allow that knot or that tight area to release. And moving down on the neck a little bit, either move your roller down or scoot your body up a little to find some new spots. Maybe getting into the traps a little bit more that are further down the neck, more towards the shoulders. Just a gentle roll side to side of the head. My foam roller is staying still. I'm just letting my head carefully rotate over. And one more. Rotating forward. And rotating back. All right, we're going to carefully come up a little bit. And we're going to move our foam roller down so it's more on our shoulders. So we're going to do some different arm positions for this one to get into the sort of meaty area of the shoulders. So we're going to start with arms stacked, elbows are lifted, right? So they're not resting on our chest. We're going to keep them up a little bit. It's going to put our shoulder blades in a certain position so that we can get some of the muscles in and around the shoulder blades. So holding here, we're going to start to roll, lift the hips up, roll that foam roller from the top of the shoulders, base of the neck, down past those shoulder blades. So we're not going all the way to the low back, just kind of up and over your shoulder blades. Moving nice and slow, nice and smooth. No need to rush through. Making any little adjustments that you need so that you stay on your mat. The higher you lift your hips, the more weight you're going to be pouring down into that roller. So the more deep that roller is going to be. Let's change the arm position. We're going to take arms behind the head now with elbows wide and continue that rolling motion up and over the shoulders. Stopping anywhere that feels tight. When we foam roll, we encourage blood flow to those muscles, which is going to bring oxygen there, which is going to help pull out some of those toxins, help move acid out of the muscles to bring us some relief and bring good stuff to them, right? Bring vitamins and minerals, nutrients to those muscles. Good, take a break for a moment, release the neck. We're going to do one more arm position. This time it's going to be a hug. So we're going to kind of pull our scapulas off of the back. So hugging the arms one more time, just sort of rolling back and forth. This one is intense for me. Those muscles under the shoulder blades can be really tight. And we'll give it one more roll. And release. Nice. Set the hips down, hands behind the head, elbows nice and wide. We're gonna do a little thoracic extension. So we're gonna extend that upper back. Get your foam roller right under your shoulder blades. You may be able to feel the points of your shoulder blades just kind of resting on top of that roller. We're gonna inhale, let the chest fall back over the foam roller, opening the ribs, feeling that decompression in the upper spine, and then just kind of curl back up to the start. Again, we're gonna inhale, lean up and over. I'm keeping my low back connected to the mat. And lift up, over. And we're gonna hold the next one a little bit. So come on up, readjust if you need to, maybe find a new spot. And last time we're gonna let it come over the roller. No need to let your head touch the ground or anything. Really be where you are. So hips are still attached to the mat. We're arching only from that upper back. Letting those elbows fall open. Good, holding one more breath. Take a really deep inhale. And exhale. Slowly make your way up. Good. Coming all the way up, we're gonna come onto one side. So we're gonna get into the serratus, the intercostals that are along the side of the body. So we're gonna take that left arm over the roller. So you want it not quite in the armpit, but just below it. So just below the armpit. And we're gonna sort of just roll back and forth on the side. So we're looking to go down the ribs a little bit and then up towards that armpit. Different positions of this arm may get into the muscles a little differently. I'd suggest starting with that arm straight on the pinky side so your palm is forward, just to get that shoulder blade to move and make some space for that roller to get under there. This area can be tender, so move lightly and slowly, and pausing at any point to just let that roller allow the muscle to release. We're gonna move on to the bicep and tricep. So move that roller up a little bit. And we're gonna start with the bicep. So we're gonna go palm down. And we're gonna just start kind of rolling forward and back on the arm. If you've been doing a lot of work with weights, this may be really, really tender. So definitely gradate how much pressure you're putting down into that roller. Keep breathing, try not to hold your breath as it gets hard. We want to be rolling from just above the elbow to almost the armpit. We don't want to be rolling over the elbow. It's not gonna do anything or feel good. All right, let's flip to do our triceps. We're gonna flip that palm up to the ceiling. We want the back of our arm on it. So maybe start at your elbow, just above the elbow. So not on the point, just above it. And roll as far as you can. And then roll it back. Really trying to stay on the back of that arm. Using your front arm as leverage to help you lift up and lay back down. Give it one more roll. Good, and release. All right, let's change to the other side. So we're gonna start with that serratus area right under the armpit on the opposite side. So starting by laying your body down, I like to start just kind of on the inside of the armpit, right? So not towards the arm, but more towards your ribs. Right arm is extended, the other arm is right in front. Small rolls to get into the intercostals, to get into the serratus muscle, and some other stuff that's right there, kind of under the shoulder blade and on the side of the body. Breathing nice and slow. Good, giving it one more roll. Maybe holding this one for a moment. And release. Nice. We're going to go on to the biceps. So we're going to start with the palm down, getting that roller maybe, right on the inside of the elbow. And we're going to start kind of rolling back and forth on that roller. And remember, if you're not feeling it in any place, don't worry. Maybe try readjusting. Maybe your roller has to come forward or back. Maybe you have to change the positioning of the arm. So make sure to have your own sort of exploration with this. It may look slightly different than it does on my body. So be sure to make those adjustments so you're getting the most out of it. All right, let's flip for triceps. So palms up. We're gonna adjust. I'm gonna bring my arm a little bit forward because it's easier for me to find my tricep that way. And go ahead and start rolling back and forth, really pressing some weight down into that roller. We wanna go from the top of the elbow to the top of the shoulder. Good, give it one more good roll from top to bottom. Nice, let's release. All right, we're gonna come up and start to get into our low back a little bit more. So definitely move carefully here. So we're gonna go into the QLs, which is gonna be on one side of our low back. So go ahead and position your low back right at that roller. We're gonna lean just a little bit to our right so that we can focus on that right QL. Right elbow is down. Go ahead and start to lift those hips up. And we're gonna roll sort of on that fleshy area from the base of the rib cage to the top of the hip. Good. We wanna work on the right side of the spine. So we're not rolling up and down the spine, just off to the side to where that QL muscle is. If you've ever felt your low back feeling really tight, especially on the sides, that QL muscle, the quadratus lumborum, can get really, really, really tight, especially from long periods of sitting. So this is a good one. I know I've been riding in the car a lot lately, and this feels very good to undo some of that sitting. Nice, and we'll take a moment just to hold pressure down into that roller. Taking some slow breaths, let the body just release into it. And release down. Nice, let's do the other side. All right, so we're gonna get into the left QL. So we're gonna bring our left side of our back over that roller, left elbow down, and we'll start to just roll back and forth, slightly off center. Remember, we're going just from the top of the hip to the base of the rib cage. It's not a very far distance, it's just a few inches. And don't worry, we're gonna get into those glutes in a second. And let's take a moment, we're gonna hold that stretch. So hold, try and relax the body, let your weight pour into that roller. And release the hips down. Nice, we're gonna go pretty much square on that roller to get the sort of width of the low back. So go ahead and bring your low back onto the roller, hands back. We're just gonna kind of start to roll back and forth on that whole low back. Starting to get into the upper hips. Okay, the more weight in your hands and feet, the less pressure you're gonna have on that foam roller. Good, and we're gonna start to go right onto the hips. So starting to sit on your roller. We're gonna focus on the right side. So we're gonna cross that left leg over, the right leg over, and we're gonna lean to the right. So we're gonna get into that right glute. So right at the top of that hip, all the way down onto the glute max. Rolling up and down in our figure 4 position. This area can be very tight, but it can also take pretty deep pressure. So don't hesitate to really press down into the roller. and moving around, squaring your shoulders up, getting more of the inside, and maybe rolling to the right to get more of the outside of the hip. We want to really get that whole back of the hip area. Taking moments to pause as needed. And release. Let's change to the other side. Crossing that left leg over. And we're going to start to roll that hip out. You can lean towards the left to get into the piriformis and the glute medius minimus, and keeping the hip square for more of the max, and just trying to get the whole surface of the back and side of the hip. Noticing if this side feels any tighter than the other side. Just taking moments to find those observations. And maybe pausing for a moment here for this last second on the hips. And release. Nice. We're going to roll ourselves a bit forward and placing the hips right on top of the roller. Carefully lower yourself down onto your back so that hips are supported by the roller. All right, we're going to take the right leg out straight. Try and keep your heel connected to the floor if you can with a straight leg. And then we're going to take that left knee and pull it in towards the chest as close as you can. We're looking to stretch out the hip flexor on the right. So by elevating our hips, we're allowing the hips to open up nice and wide and lengthen the muscles that cross our hip joint. You can do this from here, but you're not going to feel very much because as you see, my hip is still at an angle. So I want to slide that leg away to try and open here. Breathing. Letting the body release. Good, we're gonna take it a step further. We're gonna take this right leg or left leg, cross the body, bring that leg across. Make sure you're not gonna fall off your roller. Cross the body, and maybe you twist to the left, looking over towards that left hand. Feeling the hip stretch across the top leg, the top hip, in an elevated hip position. Moving carefully here, it can be intense. And coming back to center, changing sides. So we're gonna start with both feet down. You'll take that left leg, reach it as far as you can, and then bring the right knee in towards the chest to stretch out the hip flexor on the left side. Keep reaching that left side away, trying to keep the leg straight. It's okay if it's floating off the floor, as long as you're feeling that stretch across the front of the hip flexors. And moving into your twist, right leg across the body, left arm out to the side, looking towards that right arm. Good, and coming back to center. One more here on our backs with hips supported. I'm gonna take the legs up to tabletop, arms out to the T. You're gonna just do a gentle windshield wiper, rolling out the width of that low back and the upper hips. A little side to side. And release. Nice, roll that roller out from under the hips carefully. And we're gonna come all the way up and start to get into the side of our hips, into the IT band, into the quads and inner thighs, some of the more tender areas. So we're gonna start by sitting up on top of that roller, elbow down. We're gonna cross our left leg in front. So I'm on my right leg, left leg's on top, crossed. So we're gonna go IT bend, we're gonna go from the top of the hip all the way down to the top of the knee. We're not rolling over the joints, right? We're gonna stay right on the meat of the upper leg. Here we go. Back and forth, nice and easy. Really gradating how much pressure and weight you put down into that roller by pressing into your arm, press into your foot. Moving slowly. And taking a time to pause anywhere that needs a little bit more release. If you're working with a really hard roller like I am today, this can be very intense. Try not to hold your breath. And taking another moment here on the IT area, and we're gonna start to roll forward onto the quad. So we're gonna set the knee down on the left side. The right quad is on that roller, and start to just roll forward and back on the front of the quad. I find it easiest with the short rollers to do this on a single leg. So having both legs on the foam roller, you may not have a lot of space to do that. So I really like these short rollers to get deep into the quads. Again, we're rolling to the very top of the knee. We're not gonna touch the kneecap or the knee joint at all. Just over, just above it. And up as far into the hip as feels comfortable for you. One more on this side. Good, and release. We're gonna go inner thigh. So we're gonna take that roller, it's gonna go vertical, similar to the mat, and slide it right under that left leg. So with that knee bent, you're gonna lay down on that roller and start to just roll out and roll back in. So I'm staying on my right hip a little bit. I'm gonna roll forward as if my left hip is gonna come to the ground and press and roll back. Roll forward and roll back. This area can be very tender as well and doesn't always get as much stretch and attention as it needs. Let's give it one more. Rolling forward and release out. Nice, let's do the other side. That side has had enough. So we're gonna start sitting on our roller on the left side. Top leg is gonna cross in front of us. We're gonna come down onto the elbow. We're going IT band. Here we go, back and forth, getting the length of the side of the leg. Good. Really trying to get down as far as you can and way up towards that hip. Stopping anywhere that needs a little bit more. Give it one more roll. All right, we're gonna set the knee down on the right side. We're gonna go quad, so make sure that foam roller is right under that quad. Elbows down, we're gonna start rolling forward and back. So the goal is when you're foam rolling, right, we wanna really get 360 degrees. So in the case of our upper leg, right, we're trying to get the front of the leg, the side of the leg, but make sure you're getting those areas in between too. So don't be afraid to, lean a little to the side or lean a little forward to get some of those in-between areas as well. All right, we wanna really break up any tissue in our muscles that has maybe gotten stagnant or created little binds together that creates stiffness or lack of flexibility in our bodies. So we want to break up some of that tissue. All right, let's go inner thigh on the right side. Take your roller, make sure it's vertical to your mat, one thigh on. And we're gonna just start rolling those hips forward and back, getting into the inner thigh. Really pressing weight down with that right leg or whichever leg is on your roller. And again, we're working from that inside of the knee, not on the knee joint, but on the thigh, to as inside as we can. 2 more rolls. And last one. And release. Good, we're gonna go into the calves. So come into a seated position. And we're gonna take the right leg on. So 1 calf at a time. We're gonna start just below that knee joint, lifting the hips up. And you're gonna just start to kind of roll back and forth on your calf. Making sure you get nice and low so that you get into the soleus muscle and like towards that Achilles tendon, right into the back of the heel. If this doesn't feel deep enough for you, if you're not feeling a really deep roll or massage into your calf, you can cross that other leg on top, lift the hips, and do that same thing by adding a little more pressure of that top leg down. That's a little too intense for my body on this hard roller, so I'm gonna go single leg, but that's another option for you. And make sure you roll that leg to the outside, get the outside of the calf. And maybe even the inside. And one more, just kind of through that whole calf area. And a release. Let's change sides. All right, left leg on. Here we go, lifting those hips up, rolling back and forth, massaging that whole back surface of the calf. This is a great one if you have a day of a lot of walking. I really like this for that, or if you've been running a lot. Getting the inside and the outside. Good, and release. Nice. All right, we're gonna end today with a forearm and shoulder release. So we're gonna take that roller and it's gonna be horizontal to our body. So facing forward, we're gonna take our forearm of our right hand on that roller right near the wrist. And you're just gonna push that roller forward so that you're getting the kind of underside of the forearm. Rolling in and out. Good, really pressing down into that roller. If you're someone who types a lot or you're, picking things up, holding stuff in your hands, the forearms can get really tight. Let's flip that palm, so palms up to the ceiling, same thing, back of the forearm. Really pressing down. Good, take that roller now, vertical with your body. We're gonna again turn the palm up. We're gonna roll this way, forearm down, and roll back and forth. This is a great one for any pain you might get from using the cell phone or using a keyboard. Right, the fingers do a lot of fine movement, it creates tension in that forearm, can cause discomfort in your hand or wrist. This is a great one for finding relief there. My favorite chest stretch, we're gonna go hand on that foam roller out to the side as far as you can. You're gonna dip that right shoulder down towards the floor, roll that roller out a little bit, right shoulder down, stretch out the front of the chest. Taking a breath or two. Maybe your head comes all the way down to the floor. And all the way up. One more on this side. Bring that roller to the outside of your left hand. We're gonna go right hand threads underneath, palm up. We're gonna lower that chest towards the floor. Maybe your left elbow comes down. Push that roller out. We're looking to stretch the outside of that right shoulder. Pressing the hips down, pressing the chest down, and pushing that roller out. One more breath here, really letting your weight sink down. And all the way up. All right, let's do that left hand, same thing. So we're gonna start with a horizontal roller. Palm down, we're gonna push that roller in and out, leaning some weight into that roller to roll out the forearm. Last one, Flip the palm over for the back. Here we go, rolling forward and back. And maybe you even start to rotate the hand a little to get some different muscles in the forearm. Good. All right, let's take that roller vertical. We're gonna go like we're gonna thread underneath. Back of the wrist starts on the roller. You're gonna press it out, really push some weight, and pull it back, pushing weight down, getting into the flexor and extensor muscles of the forearm. You may even feel some tingling in your hands. Kind of reminds us of that connection of tension in the forearm, creating pain or discomfort in the hands. Let's do that chest stretch, palm on the roller. Press that roller away. We're gonna dip that left shoulder down, looking to the right. Maybe the head falls down to the floor. And gently pressing that left shoulder down. Feeling that stretch across the chest and the pec on the left side. And all the way up. Last one here, we're gonna thread underneath so that roller is on the outside of the right arm, back of the hand. We're gonna reach that roller away, let the chest sink down, maybe the elbow comes down, and we're looking to stretch out the back of the right shoulder, or left shoulder. Taking some slow breaths. One more deep breath, inhale, and exhale, coming all the way up. Nice, we're gonna end with one stretch. If you have anywhere else that you'd like to use as your ending foam roll, I want you to pick somewhere that felt really good for you today. So I'm gonna go into my thoracic release. So you're gonna bring that roller, if you're joining me, right to the base of the shoulder blades, and just carefully bringing the hands behind the head and letting the body sort of fall back over that roller. Maybe your head comes down to the floor, or maybe you just keep those hands gently supporting your skull. We're taking the last minute or two of class to finish up your foam rolling session. Reflect on how your body feels after rolling for 30 to 40 minutes. And using this as an opportunity to breathe really deep and bring more oxygen into your body. Remembering when we foam roll, we're moving toxins and acids out of our muscles and into our bloodstream and around the body. So it's really important that we drink a lot of water after a foam rolling session, because we want to flush all of that out of our body, right? We don't want it to find new places to become stagnant. We want to really flush it out. So drinking lots of water after we foam roll will help to sort of retain that feel good and flexibility in the muscles. One more breath wherever you are. Inhale and exhale, slowly making your way up. Thank you so much for joining me today for a foam roller recovery with the 18-inch foam roller. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and remember, we are all stronger together.